Hi there, lady in the window coming to you, and today we are planting asparagus. So this is one of those plants that I hesitated to even try for years because I heard it was difficult. It's actually pretty easy. It just comes with a few detailed instructions, so I thought I'd show you how to plant it. Now, with everything you're planting, whether you're planting from a pot or a box or a seed packet, really the key to success in planting is to read the instructions, because all these things come with in multiple different varietals, and depending on your area, it will tell you when to plant, it will tell you how to plant, it will tell you what varietals to plant. So when you're looking at seed catalogs, or you're out shopping, or a neighbor has something to pass along, you'll know it's good for your region if it's being sold locally, or you can look up your region and then match your plant to your region. So when you are looking at these, I thought these were kind of cool, because basically these are at Home Depot, at our Home Depot at least, and they are bare root plants. They come in a bag and they look like this mess. So I'm sure you look at that and you go, oh my gosh, what is that? So I'm going to walk you through how to plant these. Now I am planting Mary Washington asparagus, which is kind of a high yield asparagus for our area. I'm planting in a raised bed that I actually tilled up a couple weeks ago and then tilled up again today. It is great weather, and I've tested the soil temperature, and it is ready for the asparagus. Now it is a little early to be planting it, but I'm going to take a chance on it and see how it goes. Asparagus is one of those that's not going to crop this year. It might put up shoots, but you don't actually want to let it go to full production this year, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. So when you get this bundle of mess, what you're going to do is you're simply going to untangle it. So you're not going to hurt these guys. I think one of the misnomers about plants is that when you see something like this, or a plant in a pot, that if you mess with the roots, you're going to hurt it. In this case, you're not going to, and in most cases, you're not going to. They're okay being handled. Plants are pretty hardy. So this I just pulled it apart, and it's got 3 different asparagus plants. Now that does not mean I'm only going to get 3 shoots of asparagus, because each one of these guys, what you do is you kind of lay out the roots on either side, and each one of these is budded, or is going to bud all along here. And then it's going to bud more and make more shoots, and it's going to go on forever. And so you want something that it can stay in the bed, and you're not going to be tilling it up and digging it up each year. It's going to propagate itself, and it does like well-drained soil, and it likes companion plants. So we're actually going to plant ours with strawberry. That's another video for you to check out. But when you're planting these, what you want to do, and you can just shake all of those shavings, they're good for the soil. You shake them into your bed. So what I've done is I tilled it up so it's nice and fresh, and then I dug a hole. Now, when I tell you to read the box, that's exactly what I mean, because it will tell you exactly what to do. So for this, it says when to plant in spring after your soil's warmed up to 50 degrees, which ours has. Usually that's about 4 to 6 weeks after the last frost, which I believe our last frost was last week, so I'm a little early, but I'm also going to mulch and cover them if a frost is coming, because I have the time and ability to do that. And it requires well-drained soil with a pH of 7 to 7.2. So you can do a soil test for pH and level it out using different fertilizers and different whatever needs your soil has. There's lots of ways to do that. And then it says how to plant. You're actually going to, for this varietal and most asparagus plants, you're going to dig a trench. And so what we've done is we've dug a trench. It's about 1.5 feet long, and it's about 6 inches deep. And that's what the box is telling us to do. you're going to do a trench 5 to 6 inches deep, spread out the roots in the bottom, 12 to 14 inches apart, covering with 2 inches of soil. So if your trench is 6 inches deep and you're only covering with 2 inches of soil, obviously these are going to need a little more tending than your typical plant. And so what you do with asparagus is, as they start to grow, you cover them with more soil. If you have anything that likes to eat your little plants, as they start to shoot up, you can certainly cover them. You can use diatomaceous earth, you can use nematodes, lots of options there. You do not have to use pesticides, just as a side note. Okay, so what's going to happen is everything's going to start to grow. I'm just reading the box again. And over the period of several weeks, continue to add soil until the trench is full. Water well after planting and during dry periods. So as soon as I plant this, and the reason I'm planting it today is because it's supposed to rain tonight, which is wonderful. It's been super warm and it's supposed to rain and then it's supposed to warm back up. So it's really perfect planting weather for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bare root and I'm just going to stretch it out. I'm just using my arm to show you what I'm doing. And so there's the ball, the root ball in the center, and I'm just going to stretch it out like this. And it's going to grow no matter whether I plant it this way or this way. It's going to shoot up and do its thing. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of my trench, and then I'm going to kind of make sure the shoots are all the way along the trench. And then I'm going to cover it with 2 inches of soil. Now, remember, you're still going to have a trench that's 4 inches deep when you're done. Now you can, add composted soil to this, or you can dig up the sides. I kind of tap mine down just to make sure it's in there nice and solid. And then what I do is I take a marker of some sort. You can use a popsicle stick, you can use a garden marker, you can use a fun rock, or you can just use a rock, and you can put it right in front of where you've planted your asparagus, so that if the rains come in hard or the wind comes in hard, blows the soil around and you're not sure where the asparagus was, you can kind of help it come up by digging up a little bit of that space around it. So ask questions if you have them. One of the things about asparagus is that you really don't want to harvest it the first year. And so every varietal, again, is going to be a little different. For this, you're really going to want to not harvest the first year. And then the second year, you're only going to want to take a light harvest. You don't want to take all the spears, because then the plant's going to be confused and it won't keep producing. So basically you're teaching it. You snap them off at the ground, and you only do it in late spring, early summer. When the spears are kind of pencil thin is when they're best. The thicker they get, the more mealy they get, and so they're not as good. And this is a great plant. You can use mulch. If you don't know what mulch is, ask. But it's just a cover to make sure that it keeps the moisture in and the bugs out. So if you have any questions, check back in. Thanks for watching, and check back on our strawberries as well. Ciao.